Hello, today's video is a guide for newbies. What kind of newbies, you may wonder? The ones that question which server has the most players, or what weapon should I choose, or can I use my tank as a DPS? This kind. So without further ado, let's look into what's important for new players. The first time logging in, you're presented with many server options. By default, you're likely directed to one of the servers closest to your region, but it might be a good idea to make sure yourself. I mean, if you live in Europe, you may not want to play in C, the biggest issue being ping related. High ping equals laggy gameplay. Laggy gameplay results in bad experience and a loss of motivation for some. So choose your server properly. I'm gonna skip the character creation part because you should not have any problems with that. Now, once you're in, what do you do? First and foremost, Tower of Fantasy is an MMO gacha combination of a game. And being a gacha, you can't escape the dread of pulls. So, let's talk about pulls. One of the most popular questions I see going around is how to get pulls, or how many pulls can I get by exploration and events. As you can see, you're able to get about 500 pulls from the various methods early on, which includes map exploration that gives DC, red nucleus and special vouchers. Other sources come from leveling up, Wanderer's Log, Simulacra story, achievements and activities like the Bygone, Sequential Phantasm and so on. Right off the bat, you'd be doing lots of exploration and leveling up your character. It's good practice to keep all of your dark crystals for your limited banner pulls. Don't simply use dark crystals for weird things just because a friend said so. No! There are other pulls that require more time and effort to obtain, for example the ones in the Mirroria Gachapons machines, statues in Domain 9, and the eventual Gestos network applications. All of these have some form of time gate and you'll collect them progressively. So, now that you have some idea of how many pulls you can get, what's next? You need to do the main story quest until you reach Mirroria and spend the night in your room resting. By the next day, you'll be able to access the activity button where you can select all the game modes available to you. Important note, the dailies is an important task to do in Tower of Fantasy and I recommend you do it daily. That's why it's called daily, right? New players are encouraged to choose Vera dailies because they give Veron coins, which is the currency you'll need for those Gachapon machines later on. As you continue doing the story, you'll be able to unlock this Appointed Research tab where you'll be getting some special resources once you gain access to it. The system provides us 5 energy a day and it's capped at 20, so if you forget to exchange the energy, you'll be wasting some of it as you won't be able to claim more than 20. Talking about resources, as you progress in the story and unlock more areas, you can open your map and assign simulacras to explore the map for you. This feature is unlocked when you do your main story quest and it's an extremely good QOL that veteran players like me never got to enjoy back then. When you're doing Esperia exploration, you can assign sims to Vera or vice versa. Good stuff. During your exploration, you can focus on doing the ones you feel more comfortable with. If you open up the map, there are a lot of dots marked for exploration. Some are easy, such as those pods where you click to open. Some are harder as you venture into the later areas. I'd recommend doing the simpler ones and letting your simulacra auto-explore for you at the same time. It's a win-win situation. Oh, and there is this dimension level thing when you open the map. I'd recommend not touching it until you get to a later stage. What this thing does is you need to level them up in order to open boss chests, but the higher you go, the tougher enemies and bosses get. Even though there are good rewards stored in there, I'd recommend keeping the level at 10 until later on when you get stronger and are ready to upgrade it. For every patch, there is the Events tab where you get to participate in the latest patch-specific events to exchange important rewards. Checking the store, you can see pulls, resources, currency, cosmetic items, and more. It's stuff that we need to use anyway, so take out some time and do those events. They don't really take up a lot of your spare time, so do it at your own pace. Friendly advice: don't stack the event points and do it on the very last day. I know some of you do that because some events need team play, and nearing the end of events, there aren't a lot of players matching, so best is to do them bit by bit, day by day, okay? Here comes the interesting part, the special orders, aka the Gacha system, if you prefer that. One rule about the Gacha that players believe in is always pull new weapons and don't look back at the older ones. The first banner is where we use our gold balls. For new players, you are guaranteed a SSR in 30 pulls. By the 30th pull, you'll see the beautiful gold light, and depending on what resonance you choose, you'll get one of the SSRs from that pool. You can check on the More Info tab to see what SSRs are available. My recommendation: choose attack or benediction characters. Fortitude weapons can be obtained later on from the game or from some of the SSR boxes you get from rewards and events. I talked about the resonant roles in another video of mine. Check that out if you need to understand what role you should go for depending on your playstyle. Alternatively, you don't need to pull on this banner so fast if you don't have any problem with exploration. Tower of Fantasy has 4 main elements: Frost, Flame, Phase, and Volt, with one more altered element supporting these mains. Each banner has a limited duration, that's why we call them limited weapons. So our pulls are commonly known as standard and limited. It's a term you hear people mention a lot. These pulls do not share the pity system, so whenever you do their respective pulls, you need not worry about them overlapping pity. I guess I'll need to talk about the pity system in TOF. The soft pity is the 50-50 system where you have the chance of obtaining it at the 80th pull. 80 is the number where the dazzling gold light shines upon your dreams of getting... King? Really? Hard pity is the guarantee some people refer to. How is this guaranteed? Every summon gives 1 piece of flame gold. 120 flame gold can be exchanged for the weapon. That's how hard it is. That's how hard pity works. The guaranteed way to get the weapon of your choice. When your SR units are maxed, every time you get them from the pools, you get an additional 1 flame gold, so 11 flame gold for every 10 pool. If your SSR unit, example King, is maxed, you get 10 additional flame gold when you get him from pity. That sucks, but oh well, 10 flame gold is 10 flame gold. Also, there is a hidden pity. Hidden pity is the unwritten theory of 2 consecutive wins and the next one sure lose, or vice versa, 2 consecutive losses and the next one is a win. Win-win-lose, lose-lose-win. This pity system applies for both limited pools, weapons and matrices. Weapons have a soft pity on 80, with 120 tokens being your hard pity. Matrices have 40 being the soft pity and 80 tokens for hard pity. Now that you understand the basic pity counter, there is another element of surprise: the off pity. What's this off pity? It's the low chance of getting SSRs that can happen anytime between your rolls. Say you already hit this soft pity of 80 and your counter is reset 0 upon 80. Rolling again, and if this off pity happens, the gold light appears and you have the chance to get your SSR again, based on the win-win loss or lose-lose-win record that you have. The more you pull, the better understanding you'll have of this pity system. So, regarding pulls, in general, it's a common advice from veteran players to pull the latest weapon of your element, if you have one, because new equals to better in some ways. To be precise, newer weapons often power creep the older of that element and the former element before it. Example, Aster is our latest banner. She brings Phase back to the top of the charts, almost a whooping 40% increment to the older Fist team and about 4% increment over the Frost team with Lynxes prior to this. When you pull on limited banners, you really want to hope for the Golden Light to appear before the 80th pull. I mean, off-PTs are the real champions and will determine how much resources you use for your weapons. Some get A6 in 190 pulls, Jesus! For F2Ps, getting a base copy of the weapon may just be enough as you're gonna be careful with how you spend your resources. Worst case, you'll need 120 tokens to exchange them from the shop. If you do get her on PT with 80 pulls, you get to decide if you want to further pull more to advance her weapon to 1 star or use those tokens to buy a Matrices box. This Matrices box from the shop can only be purchased once for 50 tokens. You can buy multiple copies. It's normally used to complete your matrices set 2-piece, 4-piece, 16-piece and so on. Each weapon also comes with their limited matrices. You can toggle this from the button over here. By design, weapons work best with their own limited matrices. By design, that is. Of course, if your resources are limited, there are still standard matrices you pick up from the game. Samir, Shiro, Skylar, etc. that can be used with your new weapon, but it's always good practice to use the weapon's very own limited matrices. So how do you pull on matrices? For low investment teams, you can pull the first 40 to hit soft PT and see if you're lucky enough to get any off PTs or from the PT itself. If you do get one, you can go to this feature here to restrict matrices. By locking the piece you've obtained earlier on, the next time you get one of the limited matrices, it will be another piece and not the one you've locked. We all know 80 tokens can exchange one matrice of choice from the shop, and you already have some tokens here. If you do nothing, they turn into yellow chips once the banner ends. And it's not really wise to waste these chips unless you really want yellow ones for future standard matrices. So we do another set of 40 pulls, praying to get that sweet off PT, but if it doesn't happen, fine. Worst case, we used 80 and obtained one matrice. That's the worst case. You can choose to stop here or continue pulling for one more piece. If you do get lucky and have 2 pieces within 80 pulls, you can then go back to the weapon shop, buy that box and complete your 4-piece set. 2 from pulls, 1 from shop, 1 from box, 4-piece. That's one of the ways to acquire your first 4-piece limited matrice set. Again, I'd recommend getting 4-piece matrices over 2 pieces because 2-piece matrices are very specific towards your weapons and elements only. There are a couple of 2-piece matrices that can be used for multiple weapons, but those are usually altered matrices, which you most likely will go for anyway. For standard banner, you get a lot of gold nucleus and black nucleus from the game. Gold ones have a beginner PT of 30, and then you go on to the normal 80. Purple ones have no PT and they come at random moments, about 400 pulls for 1 SSR on average if I remember correctly. For weapons, there are some SSR boxes you can get from the game. Be it from events or the shop, these SSR boxes have some of the latest units which you might be interested in depending on what element and class resonance you eventually choose. DPS can go for these, tanks can go for these, melee for these and so on. Even exploration have some units. In Tower of Fantasy, when you get any weapon, you also get their skins. Lots of skins. Each Simulacra also comes with their own traits. Some are used for DPS, some for utility and some others for exploration purposes. They are separate, so you can use the Simulacrum appearance and the trait of another sim. Aster's looks with Claudia's trait for example. How do you unlock these traits? You need to go to the Awaken menu and provide them gifts to hit a certain number. 4,000 points unlock the highest trait value, so you have to collect gifts during your progression and save them up for your sims. Each Simulacra belongs to a certain region and you need to send them gifts from those specific maps. Well, of course, if you have played long enough and have stacked up super a lot of gifts, you can basically send any gift regardless of amount or region. Not advisable, but you do you. Next, let's look at the progression system. Because with good weapons, you also need a good build to go with it. We have this thing called Vitality. It's an important source for some of our activities. At level 20, you unlock Joint Operations, which in my opinion is the most important gear farming instance you need to do. New players should spend all of their Vitality on Joint Operations as it gives gears and Simulacrum upgrade drives. Each JO you do uses 90 Vitality to open the chest rewards. Vitality is restored 180 points per day, 360 points capped. So ideally, you want to spend them all and not let it go to waste. Through the game, you also get some Vitality potions you can use to restore energy if you need those extra points. Each potion gives 60 points. Recommendation? Use Vitality potions on Joint Operations for gears as well. And by the way, new players also have some adjusted rates. Doing JO when you're level 96 and below has the 4x multiplier, so you'll gain 4x the experience, 4 times the drop rates, and 4 times the loots. Use this Find Matches feature to get your JOs done. There's plenty of people matching around peak hours, and if you have the latest weapons, example Aster here, in Joint Op instances they are adjusted to 6 stars, so you get the full benefits of the weapon and can contribute to these matches. With the gears you've collected, you need to level them up in order to grow your stats. My advice is, focus on your gloves and shoes as priority, because these two equipment have the crit stat on them. Crit gives us damage as it allows you to bypass enemies' defenses, and the higher your crit goes, the better overall damage you do. For new players, it's good to level up your crit in the early stages. If you have managed to obtain gears from the Newcomer set sale event, they give us some fantastic gear with pre-rolled stats. Using those pieces can take you pretty far in terms of exploration and progression. In general, you'd want gears that have element attack plus attack because these stats are important for your solo progression. I covered this in another guide of mine, you can check it out later if you're interested. Depending on what element you eventually choose, you'll want to hunt gears that drop those stats. Flame mains, look out for flame attack and attack. Frost mains, look out for frost stuff. Fizz and volt mains, look out for fizz and volt stats respectively. Altered mains, prioritize highest attack of any element, so whatever highest element attack you can get, you'll use them for your altered weapons.
Pro tip.
You can set element choices in Joint Operations so it'll drop those specific gears for you. Once the basic gears are done, you have 4 other slots. We call them accessories or Vera gear because originally you need to get to the Vera region to obtain these. But nowadays some events and also the shop sells them, so accessories it is. These accessories are your combat engines, micro-reactor, exoskeleton and visor, which are not available from normal JO instances but rather team challenges throughout the game. Contents like Origin of War, Void Abyss, Final Trial, your commissary shop, and those weekly merits give bits and pieces of these accessories. Once you have those gears in order, the next step to evolve them would be the Titan system. Unlocked at level 90, Titan gears are the endgame equipment that allow your stats to break through and acquire special affixes. It's a pretty sophisticated system. I've covered Titan equipment and all you need to know in another guide. Do check it out for a better understanding. Titan gears are the endgame equipment in the current state of the game, where we get most of our power from the gears we possess. Having the latest weapons won't do great damage if your gears aren't optimized or invested in. For most players, it will take quite a while to reach there, but that's the goal to aim for, right? Okay, up to this point, it's important to recap a bit. You want to follow the main story up until the part where you get to summon for the first time, and then you will unlock some tabs on top. Pay attention to the event tab and the Newcomer set sale I mentioned earlier. This event gives huge rewards for any new player. You just need to do simple missions accordingly to unlock those rewards. This is priority, okay? Then, check out this pencil icon Wanderer's Log. Make sure you claim any rewards and items from it, as day 15 will give you the SSR selector box. Then, go to the gift icon and the rewards tab below. Go down to follow us and follow Tower of Fantasy on Facebook or Discord. You'll get 300 dark crystals from this. Clicking on exchange, you can input some gift codes here for more rewards. Check out the official Discord TOF code section for any active codes, or you can also ask around for it. Every reward counts. Next, go back to the event icon and click on the new season tab. There is an option to start the latest storyline, but that's not what we're after. We want to go to this event tab that has a store, because there are some red nucleus available there. I'd recommend doing some of the latest events to get enough points to exchange these pulls. Every patch has different events, but they're usually similar in mechanics. You have a store that has red pulls, and you need to do the events to acquire these events' currency. It's up to you. Do it if you need these pulls. And by now, you should already have been introduced to Relics. There are a lot of relics in Tower of Fantasy, similar to traits. Some are important for DPS, some are useful for exploration, and some are crucial for buffing the team in co-op modes. Depending on whether you are purely free to play or have some cash to splash, there are relics suitable for everyone. The Advanced Battle Pass offers the latest relics for DPS users and some of the shards to advance them. Whales will always go for these, as the pass itself is a good investment for its amount. I mean, the rewards you get are pretty good, no? Free to play will eventually get the Relics, Coant, Omnium Shield, and the Space-Time Rift for team play. If you've watched some of my guides before, I mentioned free to play can use the combination of Coant and Omnium Shield. Those will always be suitable for DPS in the absence of premium relics. Worry not, my Add-to-P friends. And if you have unlocked the Activities tab, you'll notice this Artificial Island Home option. This mode gives some important resources. Basically, you'll need to spend some time on the island building up facilities so you can get to claim resources daily. Every week, you can exchange items from the home store, and you get to buy special vouchers monthly. Free is free, my friends. There is also a chance an old man Jack will spawn on your island daily. Sometimes he appears once or twice a week, at other times maybe once a month. It's totally random. If you have a Jack, it's indicated by the icon over here. You have to find him on the island. He appears at fixed places. Also random. What the hell? Some players have marked their maps with Jack spawns. Veteran players already have a routine path to find good old Jack. Jack provides some useful resources, so be sure to find him and destroy him. Purchase those items if he appears on your island. Also available in the activity menu is the Mirroria Gachapons. Remember I mentioned earlier to do Vera dailies? With those Mira and Veron coins, you can go to the Gachapon machines to try your luck and get rewards. Among those pawns, there are sets of matrices which are pretty important for new players. Samir, Skylar, Harbuela, and Crow are decent matrices you can use early game. You also get some Shiro matrices from the Wanderer's Log and upgrading your suppressor. So doing these will get you at least one basic set of matrices for your 3 weapons. All you need is time. Talking about weapons, Tower of Fantasy's weapon system is based on resonances: DPS, Benediction, and Fortitude. These classes form the base of this unique combination we call team comps. To understand team comps better, you can check out some guides of the best team comps for your element and roles. The common practice, as I mentioned earlier, is new DPS weapons will always perform better than older weapons in most cases. Benediction and Fortitude weapons have more longevity, but even then, they do not escape the fate of omission. Eventually. In meta comps, it's usually 2 element plus 1 altered weapon being the top teams, and whenever a new weapon releases, it replaces the oldest among the 3. The game is about collecting resources for you to collect your favorite weapon. Every time you get a new weapon, you'd likely replace old ones. F2P players can also consider pulling for altered characters only, as these weapons do not go into the standard banner. If you're pure F2P, it's a good choice to invest your resources on altered characters and obtain other elemental weapons through event and SSR boxes. Last but not least, we talk about the endgame. Under the Challenge tab, we have Evolution Frontier, FCE, Void Abyss, Raids, Final Trial, and the Origin of War. Among those, Evolution FCE, Raids, and Origin of War has some super tough modes that require very established meta teams to complete them. Leaderboard rankings are based on the completion of those modes at the highest levels. If you're free to play, you can safely ignore these rankings, but if you're a whale, you might be interested in challenging those on the leaderboards. If you are competitive, what you can do is learn the mechanics, watch a lot of videos, and understand how these teams rank on leaderboards. DPS will need heavy investments, but Fortitude and Benediction teams are less demanding on resources but more strict in sense of your skill. You really need to be special in order to get into rankings if your investment is low. Not impossible, but very, very challenging. In summary, starting off as a new player, it's super important to understand the role and features of this game. Tower of Fantasy is designed to be an MMO as well as a gacha game. If you want to have a good experience, I'd recommend getting into a crew as soon as you can because active crews can help you in places the general public can't. Good crews also provide valuable advice and helpful tips. It's much faster than trying to solo the game on your own. Don't do that. Also, it is handy to get a mentor in the early stage of the game. An established mentor can take you through the stages of Bygone Phantasm really fast with the assist mode. It's designed for you to progress easier depending on your playtime. I was able to collect 120 pulls in less than 24 hours when doing this guide as a test. I failed the PT, but went on to do some exploration, claim some rewards, and exchange Aster from the store. Beautiful. I hope this guide will help new players gain a sense of direction as there is way too much information and things to do when you start out the game. Take your time, make some friends, enjoy the experience, and I'll see ya in the next one.